welcome back to another episode of JustFrugalMe.com. Do you get tired of going out to the restaurants? The price of the food is going higher and the quality of the food is going lower. Did you know that cooking at home will save you a ton of money? Today we have Tanya from MyForkInLife.com. Hi Tanya.
Hello.
So can you just tell me a little bit about My Fork in Life?
Sure. So I run the blog My Fork in Life, and what I do there is I do a lot of quick, easy, and flavorful meals. The reason why I started the blog is because I was a busy working mom. I was an attorney. I had a young child when I started the blog, as well as a husband, and it was getting kind of difficult to eat more at home and eat actually good quality meals. I did notice that we were eating out at restaurants a ton, and our restaurant bills were going up and up and up, and we started going to these restaurants and we weren't even liking what we were eating. So I started the blog because I became obsessed with creating good flavorful meals at home with less time and less stress, so that we don't have to spend so much money on restaurants.
So whenever you cook at home, it's probably saving you a ton of money.
It does, and it's healthier. It's healthier to cook
absolutely.
at home. Restaurants, I'm not saying we don't go to restaurants, but we have to limit the amount of times you go to restaurants, because it is healthier. You get to know exactly what ingredients you're putting in your body as well. A lot of restaurants foods does have a lot of sodium as well, so you're able to control that if you're cooking at home.
Okay, so what do we have here today?
So today I'm doing a quick and easy meal. One of the things that I found is that, let's say you've had a busy week and you haven't meal prepped. One of the essentials that we've actually been able to survive off of is what I call our pantry nights. And essentially what that means is that I make sure there are certain items in our pantry. So those nights where I don't feel like cooking an extravagant meal, I can grab a couple of items and throw something in. This is what's called a electric pressure cooker, and it's pretty hands-off, and it's still a delicious restaurant quality meal. And half the time it takes to go to a restaurant, and we do save money that way. So I call this pantry pasta, but it's actually going to be a tuna caper lemon pasta. That's what we'll call it. It's going to be our fancy item on our menu. And like I said, we're going to make this all in the electric pressure cooker. It's going to be pretty hands-off. I've got some pasta here, some oil, some capers. You can find that in your grocery store. A lemon, some mixed garlic here, some chicken broth, and some cans of tuna.
Oh, and it smells really good as well.
Alrighty, and it's going to smell even better.
All right, so let's get started.
Okay, so to get started, we are going to use our Milky pressure cooker, and we are going to use it to create our meal. I actually bought this pressure cooker off of Amazon. It is one of the cheaper price pressure cookers that are out there. It's under $100.
Oh wow, so that's like a frugal.
It is a frugal pressure
and
cooker.
And affordable as well.
It's affordable.
Yes.
And I think every household, I love kitchen gadgets, but I do think that there are some kitchen gadgets that make life easier. So when you're busy, you don't have to actually run off to a restaurant to make a meal. So I highly recommend this product for every household. So to get started, what we're going to do is we're going to set our pressure cooker to saute. And that is right there. And I'm going to keep it on normal saute, and it's set a timer for 30 minutes.
Oh wow, so that's just touch of a button.
Touch of a button. And what we're going to do is we're going to saute our aromatics, which is going to be our minced garlic.
Okay.
And as you can see, I'm going to show you again, it's saying on. Whenever it's I'm going to let this heat up for like about maybe 3 to 4 minutes, because you want your pot to be hot before you add your aromatics and start to cook.
Wow, so whenever it gets hot, it's going to tell you that it's hot.
Yes. And
that is awesome.
As I stated, you want to make sure your pan gets hot before you add your oil. So I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil to the pot just to coat the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
And if you wanted to put onions in this dish, you could, but for this, I'm just going to use some garlic, and I'm going to do this very fast.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And
you
smells good, too.
You don't want to do it too long, so I just do that super duper quick. And then I am going to pour in some water. If there were onions, it wouldn't have splashed up so much, but I decided I'm just gonna, like I said, use what's in my pantry. And I just have garlic today.
Okay.
We are then going to also, so I added the water to kind of calm that down as well, and I'm also gonna add some chicken broth. We're gonna do everything in here, so we're gonna cook our pasta in here, and to give the pasta some flavor, we're going to use some chicken broth and water.
Okay.
I don't just want to use chicken broth because then sometimes chicken broth can make it just too salty. So I decided to go half and half.
Oh.
And I've got 2 cups of water and 2 cups of chicken broth. And then I'm gonna put a pound of penne pasta. And what I'm also gonna do is I'm gonna stop that saute by pressing cancel. So I've added the penne pasta at this point. And that's all I'm gonna add at this time. As you can see, I've got my garlic and I've got the penne pasta and the chicken broth and the water. You can smell that right now.
Oh, let me see.
What does it smell like?
Smell good.
It smells good so far. We're not even
good.
done, but we've already got that part done. And so after we've put that part in, we are going to go ahead and cover our pressure cooker and set this to pressure cook on a total of 4 minutes. What that's gonna do is that's gonna cook that pasta hands off, and we're not even gonna have to drink. So what we're gonna do is we're going to go ahead and put the cover on this, and then we'll come to the front and we'll just put pressure cook, and then we'll adjust that time to 4 minutes.
Not only is it saving you money, but it's convenient in the time of the cook time.
It's a lesser cook time. It's pretty much you don't have to worry about going to a restaurant and waiting, and it's hands off. So you put everything in the pot, you go do whatever you have to do. When you hear the beep, you release the pressure, and then we'll add the rest of the ingredients for dinner to be ready. All right, so our pressure cooker just went off. It took about 8 to 10 minutes. I wasn't timing it exactly to come to pressure. And then the 4-minute timer went off. That's why it says 0. And now we're gonna release the pressure. Now be careful, it's gonna be a lot of steam. It's like a little waterfall.
So do you know about how many atmospheres of pressure that was under, give or take?
It's probably 15 PSI depending on the machine.
Oh.
And while we're waiting, we're just gonna wait for all that pressure to release. And when you're using one of these electric pressure cookers, the good thing is that that little button there will drop down when all the pressure is released. All right, so that's done. All our pressure has been released. We're gonna go ahead and press cancel on our machine, and we are going to open it.
The noodles are soft and ready to go.
The noodles are cooked, and we don't have to worry about draining them. So what I'm gonna do, press that there, is we're gonna add the rest of our ingredients at this time. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna add some lemon juice.
Okay, and you just rolling it, just make sure it get juicy and
exactly to release the juices. And I'm going to give a nice hefty squeeze. I usually put my hand over it just to make sure I can't catch any seeds that might fall out of that lemon. Oh, this one doesn't have any seeds. I'm just going to
so awesome.
Release it. And that's I want about a tablespoon of lemon juice for this recipe.
And that's just adding more taste and
flavor. It's adding it's basically lemon is an acid. And so whenever you're trying to get the different dynamics of flavor, I'm a huge fan of the Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat book. You can find that on Amazon as well. It teaches you how to cook, but it teaches you how to put salt and fat and acids in your foods to make them taste better. And we're gonna add salt, but we're gonna add salt in the form of capers to our recipe.
Yes.
About 2 tablespoons of capers in there as well. Capers are very, very salty, so before I add any additional salt, I add the capers first. And then we're also going to use tuna as well. So I've got 3 cans of tuna here, 2 that I've drained and 1 that I left undrained to add some more liquid. So if you can help me, just dump that. Go ahead and drop that tuna in there.
Okay.
And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna stir all of that up. You wanna get a stir? Put some more paper. I almost forgot the black pepper. I put a little bit of black pepper. I use freshly cracked black pepper. And I stir that in there as well. And that's it. A quick and easy, flavorful restaurant quality meal. I call this one here tuna pasta with capers and lemon.
Very original, but it's look good.
It's delicious, and I mean, this whole meal cost me less than $10 for
Oh
a
wow!
big pot
And
of
this
pasta.
looked like it would easily feed a family of 4, even 6.
With
If you have
leftovers,
some-
yeah,
oh, yes,
it's a
most
lot.
definitely.
And it's one of those things where it's great to have these pantry staples. So I have the pasta, penne pasta. You can use linguine, spaghetti, whatever pasta you have. Cans of tuna are very cheap. Lemon, if you can get a nice fresh lemon that brings out that acid, that brings out that delicious taste. And capers, there's different recipes you can use the capers for, but I only used a very little bit. And I'm gonna put the rest on my fridge. So the next time, if you're thinking of, let's say, a bagel with cream cheese and capers, you can reuse that bottle. But it gives you a restaurant fancy quality
and it
meal.
looks delicious as well.
Would you like to try some?
Oh, absolutely. And I see that we have some Parmesan cheese here.
Yeah, so if you wanted another, I guess, taste of it, and you know, when you go to a restaurant, they say, would you like some Parmesan cheese?
Oh.
You can add the regular dry
I guess I say
Parmesan.
when?
I'm gonna add a little bit to mine as well. All right, you ready to
Oh,
try
hold
it?
on. Look. Now that looks delicious. We're gonna put a picture on there as well. But that is so awesome. Okay, you ready?
Let's try it.
Okay. That is good.
That's really good.
So is there anything that you want to share with the Just Frugal Me community?
These already so good.
Oh, yes.
Sure. Sorry, to be caught. But you can follow my blog for easy, flavorful recipes. And again, like I said, you can save a lot of money. It's healthier to cook at home as opposed to always going out to a restaurant.
And saving money too.
And saving money. Exactly.
And thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of JustFrugalMe.com. And thank you so much, Tanya, for showing us this frugal recipe that you can create in the comfort of your own home. Visit Tanya at
myforkinglife.com.
I'm going to leave that link in the description box below. And never forget to share this video with those who you believe that will benefit from this content. Like this video and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already done so. And remember that being frugal is not about being cheap, it's about being resourceful. Have a great day.
Bye. I'm going to take another bite because I'm so hungry.
Thank you so much for tuning in today, and thank you, Tanya, for sharing this frugal recipe with us.
I just took a bite.
Okay, y'all stop being fat. Stop being fat. Stop eating. Don't talk with food in your mouth, Josh. Swallow what you got.
Can you stop it and start it over?
Try it.